Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I will be talking about my favourite albums from 1972, particularly progressive rock albums. So I mentioned this in my last video. I've done a video similar to this already, which was about 1973. If you've not seen that, I will put it up here for you guys to watch. They're in no way related, but it's like a series that I'm starting where I'm going to be talking about each year of the 70s and my favourite prog albums from those years. So as I said, today's 1972. I'm wearing my Close to the Edge shirt for the effect of the video. I've got quite a lot here, not as much as my 1973 video, but still enough to talk about. So I use this book again, which I mention a lot in my videos, to help me with what albums I want to put in today's list, rather than Googling it, because I'm trying to use my phone less. So I picked out a lot, and there's only one in here that I don't have a physical copy of at the moment, and it is by PFM, the Italian prog band, and the album is Storia di un Minuto, which is a very, very great album. I really love PFM. I've gotten into them through you guys, the viewers, and thank you for suggesting them, because I really do love their music. I got one of their albums in recently, and I fell in love with their music, their sound, and I highly recommend them if you don't know them. So that album I will put in my favourite albums of 1972. Such a beautiful record, I absolutely love it. Okay, so this is one I'm about to edit, but I just completely forgot an album that I didn't see in the book, but I later found. Fifth by Soft Machine. Fantastic record. I love Soft Machine, and I've been getting a lot into that kind of Canterbury scene sound recently, obviously because I did my video on the Canterbury scene. So that video actually made me go and listen to more of the Canterbury scene stuff. So I listened to a lot of Soft Machine's discography. Third is probably the one that I like the most, but that will be mentioned in my 1970 video. But Fifth is a great album. I love that a lot. I love their sound so much. The jazz-influenced sound mixed with psychedelia. It's just a great combination. And I've heard a lot of people saying that Soft Machine aren't a prog band, but I think that they are pretty prog. Just from their sound alone, it's progressive and jazz and classical influence, but particularly jazz. And yeah. Fantastic record, one to check out if you are getting into Canterbury scene. So now onto the albums that I do have. They're not going to be in order of date like in the last video, because I've just been picking them out from random parts of my shelf. So I'll just start. So of course we have Fragile by Yes. This is absolutely great record. Yes released 2 albums in 1972. I have this one and then Close to the Edge, which I'll talk about a bit later on, because I think that one deserves its own spot. But this copy in particular is a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab copy, and it's absolutely brilliant quality. I love this album. It was one of the first Yes albums I ever listened to, and obviously everyone knows roundabout of this album, but there are so many gems off this album, like Heart of the Sunrise, South Side of the Sky, you know, so Mood for a Day, that just little acoustic section near the end of the album, and it's just a beautiful record. I absolutely love it, and I think a must-have for any prog fan who is getting into prog. This one is one that you should really check out, because it's such an iconic album, the cover as well, and yeah, just check it out if you haven't. But I assume everyone who's watching my channel has at least listened to Fragile once, or at least knows a couple of the tracks off it. I have not shown this in any of my videos yet, but this is Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull. I have this as just a standard reissue here, but we got this box set in fairly recently. It's just a cool looking box set, and I love this album. I've been getting into it quite a lot recently. It's pretty much all just one track, one piece of music, but just split into 2, and I absolutely love this album. I love the musicianship, I love the theatrics of this record. If I had to pick a favourite part, I'd probably say the first part, because it's like the introduction, it's drawing you in. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, this is a very cool version of it actually, so there's some extra stuff in there as well as the actual album. But this is a great album of 1972. I really like this earlier period of Jethro Tull a lot. The Aqualung, of course, I think is a brick, and some of the earlier stuff as well. But this is definitely one to check out if you have not listened to Jethro Tull. Again, another one that if you're watching my channel, I think you should really be familiar with Jethro Tull, but if you're not, this is a great one to check out. This and also Aqualung, which I'll mention in my 1971 albums when I get around to filming that. But I love this record, as I keep saying. So I'm going to put these two together because why not? So this is Three Friends and this is Octopus, both by Gentle Giant. Three Friends is becoming my favourite Gentle Giant record. Octopus was my favourite, and then I listened to this one recently and I was blown away. I absolutely love this. I love the concept of the album as well. It's a beautiful record, especially the finale of the album, and they have their own sound and it really shows throughout this record, and just a great prog album. It's so prog, so English, and I absolutely love it. And I'd say my favourite tracks off of this would be Working All Day and probably the actual title track Three Friends at the end. It's a short little one at the end which concludes the album, but it's absolutely amazing. I love the vocal harmonies in that. And as for this one, my favourite tracks off this are A Cry for Everyone and Think of Me with Kindness. Both great tracks. I'm really getting into Gentle Giant at the moment actually, because I saw the Unburied Treasure box set and it costs an arm and a leg, but I'm considering getting it because it's just got all their work in one box, and I really do love their sound and I love them a lot at the moment. Them along with Van der Graaf Generator, like the ones that just sizzle underneath the big names like Yes and Genesis. But enough of that. A lot of you guys have been telling me or commenting on my videos saying, oh, do you listen to much Focus, do you listen to much Dutch prog and stuff like that. So I do love Focus, and this came out in 1972. I love this record a lot. Don't have a favourite track, I love the whole album. Love their sound. Great European, outside of UK, European prog band to check out. This one, and along with the other one that they released in the 70s, which is in here somewhere, Moving Waves. Yeah, that's probably my favourite out of the Focus discography, but this one is very good. And this one is on yellow vinyl, so this is very cool. But yeah, I suggest this one highly. I really love it. Ignore the sound of vinyl download code there, I've already claimed it. But this is Foxtrot by Genesis. I absolutely love this album. Of course I was going to have a Genesis record in 1972, which is Foxtrot. It has Supper's Ready on it. I think that's enough to put it in the video, but side one of this record is very, very good. And just the whole theatrics again, theatrics of Peter Gabriel's voice, the theatrics of the music. I just love their sound in this period of time from 1970-ish to like 75 up to around Lamb Lies Down. I really love that sound, and I just think Peter Gabriel's voice really suits it. But this album is absolutely great. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'm sure you have. I really, really highly recommend this. Maybe you're trying to get into Genesis early stuff, maybe you've heard some things here and there, but this is a great one to check out, especially Supper's Ready. I talked about that in my favourite prog epics of all time, and there's a reason it's in there, and you will find out when you listen to it. So this is a great record, very, very good. As I said, I was gonna give Close to the Edge its own moment because I have so much to say about this record. So I've got two copies of this. I've got this one, which is just a standard reissue, and I also have the Steven Wilson remix box set version of it, which I actually think that I prefer to the original, because there's some section, the section, the I Get Up, I Get Down section in the Steven Wilson remix. He kind of loops the harmonies in the background, not John Anderson's part, but the other two parts while he's singing, and it loops, and it really works, which isn't in this record, but it's in this one. I love this record, and I think I mention it a lot how much I do love this record. It's probably my favourite Yes album, and side one is enough to make it my favourite album of all time because it's absolutely beautiful piece of music. I love how it's quiet and loud and crazy at some points and just so melodic and beautiful in other parts, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And also side 2, which I should give a bit more love because I do love side 2. But side 2 is absolutely great. Obviously my favourite track on this is going to be the track Close to the Edge, but I do also love And You and I, which is a beautiful piece of music, and I'm talking so much. But both absolutely great copy. I think I prefer this copy, as I said, but I highly recommend Close to the Edge if you like the kind of longer and more atmospheric side of Yes, which is featured a lot in this album. So I really recommend it, and I've been recommending it to people for ages. I recommended it to my boyfriend and he listened to it and he liked it. I played it to my dad, who hadn't heard it in a while, and he loved it, you know. I don't think that you can have a top 10 Yes albums list or a top 10 albums of 1972 without Close to the Edge, because it's such an iconic album, such a beautiful album, and probably their best album, in my humble opinion. Next we have some more underground prog. This is Matching Mold. This band features Robert Wyatt, formerly of Soft Machine. Great record, beautiful record, absolutely great musicianship. I just love this album. Not really got a lot to say about it, but I do really love it a lot. This particular copy is on white vinyl, which is a limited edition pressing, and just a fantastic record all around. My favourite track on here is probably the first track on side 1 is probably my favourite. I love that a lot. It really drew me into the album. Great musicians, great album, one to check out if you like Soft Machine and like Robert Wyatt's work as a drummer. Check it out, it's great. You're not going to get a favourite list of the 70s without me mentioning Emerson, Lake and Palmer at least once. But this is Trilogy by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, one of my favourite albums really at the moment. Since I've gotten back into Emerson, Lake and Palmer, this has been one that I've been listening to a lot on repeat, especially the title track, Trilogy. Absolutely beautiful piece of music. I love how beautiful it is, and then it just goes all crazy near the end. I just love it. Vocals, spot on. And just fantastic album. I think this one seems to go underneath a bit because you've got things like Tarkus and Brain Salad Surgery and the first album, but this one's great. This is one of my favourite ELP albums. It's probably like second or third favourite underneath Tarkus, which has a lot of kind of meaning for me, which is why it's my favourite. But this one is absolutely great, and one that you should check out if you're getting into ELP and you want to know more about their discography. This one's very good to get into other than Tarkus, but great album. One of my favourite albums of all time. I will hold that till the end because absolutely fantastic record. I mean, I could go on about how much I love that and Close to the Edge for ages, but I don't want to ramble too much because I don't know. Sometimes my ramblings don't even make sense to myself. So, last but not least, we have this one. This is 666 by Aphrodite Child. This is a new discovery for the family. Well, probably not for my dad, but for me, most certainly. I love this record a lot. I had first heard it when I was in the car. We were in the car driving somewhere, and I remember a few of you guys had recommended me this group, and I thought, why not? I'm in the car. I'm just gonna play it because I've got nothing better to do. So I gave this one a listen and I loved it. I loved it a lot. I loved it on first listen, which is quite rare for me. Great musicianship, great songwriting, great vocals, actually. Style of vocals on this album are very, very nice, very much suited to the music. This is, for all you who don't know who this group are, they are a Greek progressive rock group. My favourite tracks on here are my favourite track on this album is The Four Horsemen, because that is the one that I fell in love with first. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is such a cool song. The guitar solo at the end is absolutely fantastic. And I think this is very underrated, one that you guys need to check out if you have not yet, which I'm sure a lot of you will know about this group because of who was in this group and stuff like that. But great album, absolutely fantastic. And this copy is gatefolded. very cool gatefold there, and it's also on translucent red vinyl, which suits the actual name and colour of the album. This is also on Vertigo, so Black Sabbath's label. Well, it's not Black Sabbath's label, the label that Black Sabbath were on. But yeah, great album. And that concludes my favourite albums of 1972. I wish I could have rambled a bit more, but at the same time I don't like rambling too much just in case I just go off track completely, because sometimes I'll be editing my videos and I'll be thinking, what am I on about? What am I talking about in this video? But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Maybe I should just keep my rambles in the video. So the next one of these videos will probably be about either 1971 or 1974. So maybe I'll do another poll, because the polls seem to go down well, because I did a poll about for you guys to check out and to vote on for what my next review will be on. And a lot of you guys made a very good point about Dark Side of the Moon, which was one of the albums I put into the poll about how it's been reviewed by pretty much everyone. Everyone knows about it, so I'm kind of considering just reviewing one of the lesser known prog albums, the Khan album or the Wigwam album, because they're both albums that more people should know about, and ones that are not as well known as things like Dark Side of the Moon or Tubular Bells, but I'll be able to do a very good review about Tubular Bells, I reckon, because when I first heard it I listened to it non-stop for about a month. So maybe I'll do that. So as I said, next one will either be on 1971 or 74, and I might just let you guys decide that, because I've tabbed so many for 1971 and for 1974. I think I've tabbed more for 74. So, or maybe not actually. I think I've tabbed so much for 1971. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that is the end of today's video, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode of Saturdays with Dad. Tomorrow's episode will be about the 90s again. It'll be 95 to 99, so a lot of kind of Radiohead in there. Be some Radiohead, and there'll be some other stuff as well. I think some Porcupine Tree will be in there as well. Dream Theater as well. See you guys tomorrow then. Bye.